Morning, everyone. Another Connected Share on a Friday morning. And we're running a little bit behind time this morning, but we'll catch it up. It's going to be a lot of information to get through today. So let's try our best to get through it. There's a lot going on, which means there's a lot that we need to share with you. So for those who don't know, I'm Laurie Mode. I'm from Outdoors New South Wales and ACT. So firstly, may I please acknowledge voluntarily the traditional owners of which we all meet today. We're coming across all of the country, from Victoria to New South Wales to Queensland, and may I pay my respects to all our Aboriginal people with us today or watching online, as well as the traditional owners past and present. So may we connect with them to provide better experiences for our visitors and enable them to connect with our country in the way our traditional owners have for thousands of years. Right, thank you to our volunteers. This is Volunteer Week. This is a time where we acknowledge publicly and openly the contribution of all our volunteers. And in the outdoors, we have lots of organisations that are passionate volunteers behind them that make them do what they do every day. And yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to work with all of our 34 volunteers that are part of Outdoors New South Wales and ACT. There's a little snapshot on the screen there for you. I can't thank them enough for the support that they give me every day, the support they give all the operators every day in really looking at the opportunities for this industry into the future and for the now. So if you've got volunteers in your organisations, whether they be board members or committees or people on the ground doing some wonderful things, please make sure you reach out to them in the next couple of days, as this is National Volunteer Week. We do have a call for volunteers. We need to up it from 34 to a few more. And that is because we now have opened up the nominations for our First Nations subcommittee. We're hoping to form this subcommittee to really do some intentional engagement with First Nations opportunities. So if you are interested in that subcommittee, please reach out to us so we can certainly connect with you and get you on board with that subcommittee. We are also calling for any students, anyone that are passionate about outdoor education, because we have the National Outdoor Education Conference coming up in September this year, and we're needing some support. We're needing some volunteers to help us be ushers, be event assistants, do some running around. You won't actually get to see much of the conference, unfortunately. These are very much specifically around assisting us in running the event and making sure it's an enjoyable experience for all those that come to the event. So if you know anyone or you are interested yourself, we ask that you jump in and certainly nominate whoever it is to come on board as a volunteer for the conference. And next week, I'm going to be at the Outdoors Victoria conference, which I'm very, very excited about, heading down to Melbourne and talking to the industry down there. So I'm calling if anyone wants to host next week's Connect and Share. We have a wonderful guest speaker from HR Assured who's going to really fill us in on some of the WHS areas that we've been talking about for some time, but give you some really cut through tips and hints for organisations in being compliant in this space. So the content is pretty much sorted. We will have some updates, which I would normally give, which I ask if there's anyone that wishes to put their hand up to do that. I'd love to talk to you about hosting next week's session and see if you can do that for us. Okay, let's jump in, and I'm going to apologise in advance. It's a little bit of death by PowerPoint today, but there is so much information that that I need to share with you. And the first thing you might have seen in the build up to tomorrow, aren't we all glad that the election campaign ads are going to stop as of tomorrow? We have been advocating for the industry at the federal level through our open letter, which was really articulating some of the challenges of our industry. And it looked at the Australian Activity Adventure Standards, of course, and the importance of embedding them into policy and procedures for landowners. Insurance challenges, which goes without saying, our workforce attention and attraction, industry training and qualifications, connection to First Nations, which we're trying to do ourselves through our subcommittee, and climate change mitigation adaptation. What are the federal government doing in that? We are getting less and less days in the outdoors because of climate change. We need to work with government and policy makers to make a headway there. Trying to embed the fact that we improve health and wellbeing generically across all areas of government, and understanding the benefits of outdoor recreation and education. And then, of course, leadership on the outdoor education curriculum and how we need to embed that too, now that ACARA has made it very obvious that it needs to be more outdoors for the benefits of the students. So we've asked for 4 things. We've asked for capacity support. We've asked for increased education on that health and wellbeing. We've asked for support with accreditation, and we've also asked for support with a labour agreement. So look, we'll keep pushing this. If you haven't shared it with your local members, it's not too late. Please do so. Even after the election, this is not too late. We need them to understand that we are an industry that they need to support, but also there are some significant things that can help all communities across Australia. So as I say, please share. We certainly have had some great traction on it, not enough, but yeah, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram as well, whatever platform you work with, please jump on, grab the open letter and share it about. Okay, events. There is a lot coming up, a hell of a lot coming up. So first of all, Helen, great for you to join. I just saw you there. How's the ACHPA conference going?
Yeah, it's going well. The delegates are just in a session at the moment, and morning tea is shortly, so I'll get a chance to chat with more of the early teachers at morning tea and lunch. But yeah, it's going well.
Fabulous.
So just sort of talking to them about the NOEC conference and the Active Outdoor Kids program. Just
Fabulous.
Get some interest out there and get some more people coming along.
Fabulous. Thank you for being there, and also hoping the hand's holding up well there. She had a bit of a surgery.
I looked like
there's dedication for you. Surgery one day, conference the next. So.
All good.
Thanks, Helen.
All good.
Okay, so next week, as I say, HR Assured are going to join you for Connect and Share, and a reminder that, yeah, if anyone is around next Friday and want to host the session, please stick your hand up. I'd love more operators to be involved in our Connect and Shares. So they're going to be talking about WHS laws, work safe, and really just some high-level real tips and hints that you really need to know as operators, and they're going to make it specific to the outdoors for us as well. Western Sydney Moving. One of our members, Collective Leisure, has instigated this, and it's a great initiative. No doubt we all want more active lifestyles for health and wellbeing and all of that, but I think what Collective Leisure have really driven with this is a great stakeholder engagement, and they're holding a session online on the 2nd of June to get those stakeholders to the table and start some real great discussions around, right, what are we doing in Western Sydney to get more people active and outdoors? So if you are interested in joining, please make sure you email David, because he's really interested to hear from you, and hope you can be involved. I will be there. So yeah, please jump in if you're interested in doing some activities in Western Sydney. Now, Dylan's online, which is great. Dylan, please fill us in on the FOC. I'm so excited. Oh, can't hear you, Dylan. You're off mute, but we can't hear you.
Is that working now?
That's working.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
So I work for a company called Valley Outdoors, which is based in the Kangaroo Valley in New South Wales. And that's the home of the Waddy Waddy people. So just again, acknowledging them. And the Kangaroo Valley got hammered in the floods earlier this year, so much so that all roads into the valley were cut off. And at the moment, you can still only get in via 2 roads because there's still major roadworks, and the main road in is still a traffic light system, which obviously really hurts a small tourism town. And in addition to that, there's been major landslides and impacts upon the paddling venue, which is the obviously less than ideal for the canoeing capital of Australia, which we're claiming. Dave, if you got a problem with us having paddling as the capital in New South Wales, you'll have to talk to me later about that. It's nice to see your paddling image in the background there. And I also want to say thanks to Laurie for the heads up about volunteers, because I'd love, if anyone wants to volunteer for my event too, they can come along. But in summary, the Festival of Canoe and Kayak is a short term attempt to get people to come back to the Kangaroo Valley, to a tourism town that's really struggling. It's a 3-day festival, and it's got lots and lots of different pieces. If you check out the website there, thefoc.com.au, and if you've got any questions, you can email me at what@thefoc.com.au, and I'll be happy to field those for you. And obviously the amount of puns that are able to come along with this are immense. I will stress that it's a family-friendly event, so even though the puns might be there, I will not be pushing the boundaries too much. But yes, if you can share that with your networks, check out the website. Tickets should be going live early next week for various parts, but huge amounts of it are actually just for free and encouraging people to come and participate in the outdoors. So obviously that's strongly aligned with the goals of Outdoors New South Wales.
Awesome. Well done, Dylan. And I saw that Kangaroo Valley was up for one of the top tourism awards yesterday, but got pipped by Berry.
I don't even have a lake.
Exactly. But yeah, good to see so many Shoalhaven towns up in the finalists of those awards. So yeah, well done. Yeah. And
no worries.
Looking forward to the event. Well done on the organisation. That's a lot to coordinate.
Yeah, and actually I'll give some free advice to the industry generally, which is if you're thinking about organising a festival, give yourself more than 6 weeks lead time. That's definitely a wise thing to do. I'm learning a steep learning curve.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for inviting me along today, Laurie. I'm going to jump out very shortly and go chat to the media. Yes,
please go chat to the media. That's a lot more important than us. So yeah, make sure we get that word out.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. See you later. Great, guys. And then on to a few more. So Brian's online, and Brian, as you might remember, is part of our trail bike subcommittee, and we have organised a trail bike riding workshop, which is talking about the single track challenges when it comes to navigating the opportunities in single tracks. So this is happening on the 20th of June. So it's from 3 to 4 online. So if you are interested in coming along, please let us know. We will be going out to our trail bike community and our database today and letting them know about this workshop, but we encourage anyone who has interest in this space to certainly come along and be part of that discussion.
I'll just sort of add
Ryan,
that,
go for it.
Single track is an issue that riders do a lot of riding on single track, not really legally, but yeah, we're certainly keen to at least talk about what's the impediments for being able to make single track riding legal. Given that there's lots of mountain bike type tracks which are single track, some of which are supported, some are not. But, yeah, whether there's a synergy between how they approach a mountain bike track as opposed to a single track motorbike track.
Thanks, Brian. Actually, just while you're there, yeah, if you could just describe what a single track is, that's a really good point you make.
Because a motorcycle's 2 wheels, one in front of the other, it's called a single track vehicle because, you know, when you, well, particularly you can see in the dirt, they only leave one single wheel track. So it does have some single tracks at ground level. The track may only be as little as 150 mil wide. Higher up where your handlebars are, does need to be a bit wider, perhaps around about 1 metre. But yeah, some of these tracks can be just that single one. More used ones are probably wider than that.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the type of track that we're talking about. And if the impact is quite low, they do find difficult to find a track that's been sort of ridden before. Once the undergrowth starts to grow over a bit, they tend to be lost. But yeah, we
for those that
wish to sort of talk about, well, what are the impediments for actually allowing? We do realise there's things to do with erosion and going into areas if there's cultural type sensitivity, you know, but those sorts of issues. But you know, generally, why can't if there's some management around it and design around where those tracks go, why can't it be made legal?
Yeah, so just to confirm on that, obviously we're wanting to work with the landowners to get a best solution. And I think when it comes to, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, Brian, but the discussion around current access tends to be, you know, shared use with four-wheel drives, which becomes a risk for a lot of mountain bikers and trail bikers if that's the only option that exists in a lot of areas as well.
Yep. And I'll also add, because the single track quite narrow, speeds are quite low. So some plots we've had average speed is something like about 20 kilometres an hour. So the risks of that is quite low because the speeds are relatively low, as opposed to if you're out on a fire trail or a management, speeds are much higher. And the risk of finding a four-wheel drive or in a lot of cases a motorbike coming in the opposite direction, you know, the risk from a head-on crash is much higher than it is from encountering someone else on a single track at low speed.
Absolutely. And for those that joined last week's session, when we then thanks to Hugh Sutherland for hosting that session too for me. But I think, you know, having the discussion on the mountain bikes, they've got very, very similar issues. So having that conversation jointly, and I think it's a really good thing to see that we're really navigating some of the challenges of all activities and trying to see the commonalities and work together. Thanks, Brian. Really appreciate your input on that one.
Okay,
right,
thanks.
We'll keep moving. So the Outdoor Education Awards are now open. So for those that are in the education space, please make sure you jump in to the OEA website. They close on the 24th of June. So if you have a program, if you want to nominate someone for their outstanding service, or you know, someone that's coming up through the ranks and doing some great stuff, there is now that new category, which is the emerging practitioner. So jump into the website and please nominate before the 24th of June. And let's put New South Wales and ACT up there in lights and get some great nominations. The 24th of June Connect and Share is really, really important to jump onto. The reason being is this is really stripping back the waiver, so to speak. We have probably relied a lot on waivers in our industry, and the new case law that has just gone through the High Court has huge implications on our waivers. So I've asked Aon, who are a great supporter of us and our industry, to help me coordinate a really clear information session on what this means for our industry. Clyde & Co are lawyers that will be present and assisting us with this knowledge. And this comes from the case where we had a huge payout, a $6.8 million payout for Miss Tapp, who fell during a camp drafting event. So as I say, I won't go into too much depth because I'm no lawyer and I certainly don't want to entertain any thoughts that I am, but I will be getting the people that know this best to you on the 24th of June to discuss this and make sure that you review your waivers, your risk mitigation in this area to make sure that you don't have to pay out anything like $6 million in the future. Reminder about the National Outdoor Education Conference, the 26th to 28th September this year. As you may know, it's been cancelled twice. We will be going ahead. I am going to make sure of that. And a big thank you to the committee who signed up for a one-year deal, who've had a 3-year deal in supporting this event and getting it happening. Look, it's becoming an amazing program. So it's one that you've definitely got to jump in and have a look at. Final exhibition stands are available. There is one level of sponsorship still available, and that's it. So if you are interested in supporting this event, we encourage you to let me know or let us know, and we will certainly get you connected so that you can be there and talk to your key audience of national outdoor educators. It is 3 days. It's going to be fabulous. So if you're wanting to come, jump online and grab your tickets. Okay, grants, and we know that there is a lot out there, but I've just picked a few that you may or may not know about that will be great for our industry. The first one is a bit of an unusual one. And you might have heard about the up-and-coming EVs, and our electronic vehicles certainly starting to see a lot more on the roads. Now, the government has come out with an amazing pool of funding to support installation of charging stations. Now, this is not only open to councils, this is open to businesses. So if you see that this is an opportunity, your target market looking at coming out to you that might own electric vehicles, have a look at it, because it's actually covering up to 75% towards the cost of the actual infrastructure, also the installation, and then you're actually getting a great discount on the subscription of any software that comes as part of that. You've just got to be in an eligible New South Wales local government area, which is basically regional New South Wales, and you just can't have more than one already installed, which I'm sure on screen and those that are watching don't actually have any more than one, if not one at all. So look, it's a great opportunity to tap into a market and also show that we're supporting sustainability and electric vehicle use. The next one is a really unusual one as well. So Athletic Brewing donates 2% of all their sales to protecting and restoring trails. Trails are what we need for our activities, and they've just started to expand into Australia. So they've got a grant round where you can apply to have some trails restored, and that closes on National Trails Day, which is June the 4th. So you've only got a couple of weeks, but if you're wanting some finances to upgrade a trail or restore a trail or work with a landholder to do so, please jump on and apply for that grant and email to forthetrails@athleticbrewing.com. And a quick grant update on the music and overnight camp support. You would have heard this from Hugh last week, but yes, it's coming very close with the criteria on this one. We do have some of our operators just testing the system for us at the moment, but great to see that these finances are coming available very soon. So again, thanks to the Department of Education for their support here. We understand it's been delayed. We understand the reasons why, and obviously very sympathetic to many people that have lost their whole livelihood and their houses during the floods. But we are finally here, and we're certainly going to have this money rolling out very soon. Optional opportunities for you. Last call for the mentoring program for the ACT. So if you are in the ACT and you would love to join a mentor program as a mentee, make sure you jump in and register, because we are about to close it off this week, as it will commence in June. The EOI for the Gardens of Stone. Again, you might have heard this from Hugh last week, but I can't stress enough, when these opportunities come out, I don't want to have the conversation with you post saying, oh, I should have applied for that. This is an opportunity for any activity providers to get into the co-design of a brand new reserve with National Parks and Wildlife. Now, this is a great area of which, you know, is a nature playground. There's a lot of activities going on in this space right now, but we need to work with the National Parks and Wildlife to co-design it so we get the best opportunity for our community in doing a multiple range of activities. So again, I can't stress enough to get in by the 6th of June and put your submissions into that process. The new innovation by Careers New South Wales. You might remember last year, the government came up with a program called Careers New South Wales. They call for volunteers. I am one of those to support people in wanting to understand more about the outdoor industry. There's volunteers right across all sectors. But they've actually come up with a new process to get it into schools, which is great to hear. So this will support all careers advisors that are based in schools and provide more opportunities for kids to understand what there is out there. It is going through a consultation phase. So if you're passionate about this area, please jump onto their website and you can certainly have your say about that program and what they need to consider or any feedback you have. Or you can actually contact Careers New South Wales at the department direct on any conversations you wish to have. And a reminder about the AAAS, which is open for consultation at the moment. We're inviting all industry to have their say on trying to improve these standards and good practice guide, or the standard and good practice guides. And we also do have the slacklining and highlining good practice guide there, which we would like to have feedback on before we endorse it as part of the process. Now, for your action, this is very important for those that haven't done this as yet. First of all, membership. If you have not joined Outdoors New South Wales, and I'm looking on the screen, you all have, so thank you. But for those that are watching the recording and you haven't joined, this is your opportunity to do so to keep your current fees frozen for 12 months. We work on a rolling calendar, which means when you sign up, that date next year is when that expires, and then you can renew. We will be altering the fees as of 30th of June this year. So yeah, make sure you jump in before then if you want to freeze the current rates for you for the next 12 months. And my system's not working. There we go. Membership update. Again, a reminder to get your information in. Now, I'm going to explain why this is so important. We are moving to a new membership platform. This means that the website will drive you as members to your own portal. This will provide your resources, your information, your education opportunities, your promotional opportunities into a secured area, which means that non-members will not be able to get access. So I need to ensure that members update their details with us, and that is probably regardless if they haven't changed, just to make sure there's no spelling errors, there's no phone number errors, because we want to make sure that you are going to get access to what you need as we transition to this new portal. So please, if you haven't done so, jump on that. Emphasize that it's not just for people that have changed their details. This is for everyone. So jump onto that and tell us who needs to get access to this new portal. The second thing is your promotional opportunities. So if you haven't done so, you should be already a member of the website. If you're not, it's very easy to do. You can just request membership access. We'll obviously check it against our records. If you're a member, we'll approve that. Then you have your own login on our website. When you jump into that, you will see there's an area in your login where you can list an article. Now that article is your promotion for your business or your product. And you can fill out all the details you can, as you can see on screen here, that Blue Mountains Climbing School has done so well, and put all their details in, tagged all the items that fit with their business or their product. That way, when someone searches for anything relating to that tag, that you will come up. So again, it only takes a couple of minutes. Jump in, make sure you put your details in, and then you'll be exposed on our website for promotional opportunities far and wide. Okay, so to information and news now. I attended the Local Government New South Wales conference this week, and it was the Destination and Visitor Economy Conference. So quite highly strung to the tourism side, but my goodness, the conversations were great when it comes to outdoors and outdoor activities. The takeaways from the local government, and when I say the local government participants, they were everything from councillors, mayors, to economic development managers or tourism officers. The bottom line is they want to get more of their communities active. They want more operators in their natural reserves, national parks, to conduct activities. Some of the regions that were present couldn't even name me one of their operators that were out in their open spaces. So I think we've got a lot of work to do to connect our councils with our operators. So if you are interested in going into new areas, I would love to support you in connecting you with those councils and see how we can come up with a fabulous partnership. The presentations were everything from Destination New South Wales to Tourism Australia to case studies across the country. But here's some takeaways for you. First of all, regional domestic tourism will certainly be booming for at least the next 2 years, certainly before overseas travel actually returns to pre-pandemic levels. As you might know, if you've been reading the news or listening to the news, China will probably not be returning to pre-pandemic levels for quite some time. So what we had based on some 5 years ago was China being our market for those that are in the export business. Certainly that has turned. We are now looking to places like India as our emerging visitors, and certainly Korea are our number one when it comes to visitors to Australia. Interestingly enough, they spoke a lot on Aboriginal content, and this was really intriguing that 16% of Australians could understand or name an Aboriginal operator or an Aboriginal opportunity when it came to experiences. It was very, very low. But when they were actually prompted by an opportunity and told about a product, that had the highest range of interest, and people were really wanting to engage in that. What this tells us is that our want to do more in the First Nations opportunities and engage with our local Aboriginal operators is certainly highly, highly important when it comes to working in the tourism area. The other thing that's incredibly important is the sustainable messages that we can send. And you might remember back when I presented some McCrindle research on demographic shifts and what consumers are looking for, sustainability was really up there, and that has not changed. So as you are promoting your business, if you have an area that you are passionate about or as part of your values or you're driving as part of your business that relates to environmental sustainability, please ensure that that message is clear. They're becoming more ethical buyers than ever before, and I'm sure that that's reflected within the audience here. Accessibility and inclusion is also incredibly important and continues to grow in demand as people seek out opportunities. So some of the other takeaways, look, it is now that we need to think about innovation. We need to take this opportunity as domestic tourism is on the rise, and that we have literally still some captured audiences before us. Be innovative, be brave, and invest in that future of that tourism opportunity. Cooperate with your local area. As I say, I think it was reflected very, very obviously that councils didn't understand really who was in their area, but they were there ready and willing to support those that were in their area. So cooperation with your local area, your local council, and other products is absolutely necessary. Be intentional and consistent about your communication. That enables you to cut through a lot better into your markets. So as I say, contact your local council, let them know about your activities and what you do for community and visitors. They will then advocate on your behalf. So if you don't know your economic development department, reach out. Find out who they are. They often offer resources to help support business, and that might be the way of workshops or contacts to help drive your business. They might have tourism programs or promotions that you could be a part of. Your local visitor information centre, of course, which most of you probably are already connected to. The community department, this one works with your not-for-profits and drives community health outcomes. So let them be aware of what you do in that space. You never know what opportunities might present. They also run events. So, you might have an opportunity in supporting a local event or being involved in a local event and talking to your local community. The compliance area often people shy away from, but I can't encourage enough that in a local council, it's very good to connect with your compliance area to understand how you can work together on access or even just registration and business. And then, of course, access. So Crown land, as you may or may not know, a lot have been handed back to the local council areas to manage. Some councils are really not understanding, how they're going to work with that. They want to engage with you to understand how best to use that Crown land. Parks, reserves, even community buildings. If you're looking at, licensing or leasing a space, work with council on some of the low cost areas that might be available to you if you are a not-for-profit or working in a community space. Okay, latest education research. My goodness, this really I'd love to have a bit more of a chat about. This came out, I wasn't able to attend the presentation and I hope to catch up on that. But what they talked about with this latest research from McCrindle is the transitions in work, which are really framing the way that we work. Now, obviously in the outdoors, it's probably not as applicable in some of the areas, but I think there's still some takeaways that we can learn from this research. So the first transition they're talking about is we're moving from a manual to a machine learning in our workspaces. So when it comes to professional development, certainly they're encouraging more online learning. What does that mean for us? Technology to human skills. So funny enough, on the reverse, we're going from what we had is technology into the fourth industrial revolution. And if you've read that book, it's quite a powerful book. The fourth industrial revolution says that we rely on our human skills to really make a difference in today's world. So that transition is incredibly important, specifically to our industry. The third one is fixed. So our fixed environment, our fixed office to a very flexible office and working environment. That goes without saying, obviously coming out of COVID, but it's here to stay from what we're seeing in the research. The fourth one is a profit to people. And that comes to our not-for-profit or our profit for purpose or our buying ethically, our sustainability options. So people are seeing that, it's more about the community, it's more about the people, it's more about our locals as well. So remembering that from the last McCrindle research as well. Number 5 was generational divide to intergenerational connection. We were very segmented, we're saying, oh, you're a Y-gen or yes, I'm a X-gen, but now we've actually got to work out how all of those benefits that come with generations can work together and intermingle to get the best results for our organisations. They each have their own benefits and how do we work with that in a work environment? And then the 6th one is security to purpose. So how are we feeling in our worlds as being secure, but now we're working together on that security and not being so insular when it comes to connections. The other part that came out of this was the actual students. There was a students aged from, I think it was 14 to 24, if I remember correctly. So this is not only just high school students, but also tertiary students. And they were asked about what they were equipped with from their teachers, their core competencies and character qualities. 72% said they're being told about problem solving. They're given the ability to problem solve. Critical thinking was the next, communication skills was the next, self-management was the next. What this does, I think, is open up some opportunities on how we can connect with that, with our educational opportunities. But what's missing there that we stand for? And how do we get that higher on that list? The top Character qualities were persistence, initiative, adaptability, and self-awareness. So again, great qualities. Probably, you know, when I look at the percentage there, I would hope that they would be higher in trying to get through our majority of our students. But interesting to see that it's still coming through. But what was clear is the quality of education by all those interviewed were saying that they're in a much better space than most comparable countries across the world. So again, I think this is a message for us on how do we get some of those skills that we value in our education opportunities up on that scale and showing into the research. But this is probably the biggest takeaway that I've found from this research. Only 14% of students are now looking for traditional employment. We are low staffed. We are trying to find staff everywhere. But only 14% of students coming out into the workforce actually want just a job. These guys are looking for entrepreneurial opportunities. They are either looking, 11% are looking at starting their own jobs, or 27% are looking at starting their own industry or their own business and doing something on the side. So that means, you know, a casual position, something that's not intentional, just to keep the money flowing to support their entrepreneurial initiative. And 48% said, yeah, I'm happy to get a job, but really, I want to start this business as well. That was a huge takeaway for me. And I've always said that entrepreneurship was on the rise, but this actually proves it. And it shows that we've got a space to play in supporting these guys to recognise the opportunity of potential outdoor entrepreneur opportunities. But how do they get the experience? How do they get the connection to what's needed in the industry? I think we've got to hone in on that 48% and get those skills up so that we can get them into our industry. So guys, that's pretty much all of the content for today. That was a hell of a lot of content, but I wanted to now just open it up. Was there any insights that you found from those education slides there that might have any questions triggered in your head or opportunities? Feel free to jump in on any of the content actually that we've just spoken about today. So over to you guys.
Well, the 14% with looking for traditional employment. There's lots of casual one-off jobs, with that many of us need. Some need more full-time, but small tourism, small adventure operators, people that can work occasionally, be a bit flexible, that are looking at other entrepreneurial, have other forms of income, are ideal for our. We just need to. Need to get the information that we exist to these people,
correct,
so that we can train them up correctly. Yeah,
that's exactly right. And I just noticed Helen's comment there that even talking to the teachers, they're interested in the career paths. So yeah, we've got to cut through this. And I think the Careers New South Wales opportunity, what we've been doing with the Department of Education and the Workforce Development team, what we're doing in the conferences and connecting and having these conversations is all helping. But yeah, we've got to do better in this space. We've got to make sure that they're aware that this is an opportunity for them outside of school and beyond. Also recognising, Dave, you made a really good point that the career changes, and I think it was Mark McCrindle that even said this, that the Z Gen now coming outside of school is probably going to have 6 or 7 careers when they leave school. So it's no longer, you know, we're going to select a career and stay in it. So, you know, and as I think you've articulated in the past as well, the skills that we embed in our industry can be carried across any industry. So yeah, we've got to cut through and give that messaging as well. Fabulous. Any other thoughts or comments on any of the content today?
Yeah, I guess I was just going to sort of suggest, and it's what I've also been speaking with people about here, is just forming partnerships with other bodies, so that we're not duplicating effort all the time.
Great.
So, for example, I just spoke with Tracy, who from here, and she was sort of saying, yeah, again, to partner with with them rather than, and work alongside them rather than us doing something and them doing, you know, something that all is all pulling in the same direction. But
yeah, correct. That's exactly right, Helen. And I think that's a really important message, because often we might be thinking we're saying the same things and we're trying to do the duplicate effort, but we might be going in opposite directions. So having that conversation and forging ahead. And that's why I love events like you're attending today. I think that's a great opportunity to have those conversations. And I'm looking forward to having the same conversations at Outdoors Victoria conference next week, because again, they're doing the same thing and people do cross borders. So let's work together. Yeah, fabulous. Thanks, Helen, and good luck for the rest of the day. I'm really looking forward to hearing that.
Thanks. I'm completely disarmed.
Yeah, literally. Awesome. Kirsten, did you have a thought?
I did. I just didn't catch the brewery company grant
Go back to that one.
contact. Yeah, that'd be great. I'll just take a snap.
Hey, there's a lot of slides here today. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's huge.
I came back from Orange and went, oh my Lord, look how many things I got to talk about. It was.
So thanks for that.
No worries. It was very cold in Orange too, just for the record. Awesome. Great. Does that help? You got that one?
Yes, thanks.
Fabulous. Okay, guys. Well, I might stop the recording there and just open it up.